Alright, at this point we need to start asking the tough questions. Like, when will Drake finally give up on this beef and stop embarrassing himself? Nothing he does will ever erase the fact that he went to war and lost in the most spectacular fashion. These shenanigan and bizarre moves he's been pulling since then aren't helping his case. Instead, they're only sabotaging whatever remains of his career and reputation. Who would have thought Drake would stoop so low as to file a legal petition against his opps just because he lost a beef? But the real shocker isn't the filing itself, it's the finer details of the petition, because Drake outright accused Kendrick, his label, and Spotify of pushing Not Like Us with bots and streaming farms, and according to him, the billion-plus streams the song has are fake. Do you know how delusional you have to be to believe that Not Like Us isn't genuinely popular? And now, out of nowhere, reports are coming in that Drake has decided to withdraw his petition against Kendrick and his label. That's right, Drake has officially canceled it, but the big question is, why? Is he gearing up to file an actual lawsuit, or has he finally come to his senses? In the next few hours or days, something major is bound to come to light. Either way, Drake has proven yet again how selfish and fake he can be. It feels like just yesterday when Drake filed this petition claiming he was doing it to fight for every artist in the industry, but let's be crystal clear, this was never about championing artists' rights, it was always about him. And while his diehard fans might try to spin the narrative, the truth has been obvious all along, you just refuse to see it. Drake will do whatever it takes to get what he wants, even if it means crafting a narrative that paints him as the good guy. For a moment, a lot of his gullible fans genuinely believed he was about to be the hero of this story, that he'd sue, win, and set a precedent for others to follow. Now, it's just wild that y'all really believe Drake is that straight and narrow. But for those who've been following this beef right off the bat, it was obvious this whole petition thing was just a facade, a desperate attempt to save face and score cheap points. Now, Drake and his legal team have gone back to the same court where they filed the petition to officially withdraw it, a move no one really saw coming. But here's the kicker that sparked a lot of speculation. While Spotify acknowledged the petition was dropped, Kendrick's label UMG hasn't said a word. That leaves us with two possibilities. Either the bad blood between Drake and UMG is still boiling, or Drake isn't done with his legal maneuvers just yet. Some insider sources claim Drake had a meeting with UMG higher-ups where they warned him that the same accusations he's making up about Not Like Us could just as easily be made against some of his biggest hits. Others suggest Drake's legal team made him realize the potential consequences of pressing ahead with the lawsuit and decided to back off, so this has sparked a lot of speculation online, with many wondering about what was going on behind the scenes in this unprecedented power play. At first, the whole petition drama felt like a calculated attempt by Drake to disrupt the momentum of Kendrick's new album GNX at the time. But now it's spiraling into something much bigger, and honestly, how do you expect to win a legal battle when most of the sources to back up your claims are from content creators like academics, someone who literally worships the ground that you walk on? There's no way he'd be this delusional if his inner circle wasn't enabling him, and it's only gotten worse. Remember, several sources from Drake's camp were so hyped about Drake's fight with UMG and how it was going to revolutionize the music industry forever? Well, that revolution has yet to begin, and now that the petition has been withdrawn, it seems like it never will. Ever since Family Matters dropped, it's been more obvious than ever that Drake and his team are all talk, no action. They love to hype up their next moves, but when it's time to deliver, they're nowhere to be found. Even some of Drake's fans are riding the same delusional wave, with many of them insisting the beef isn't over and their favorite artist hasn't lost. Imagine the looks on their faces now that Drake has backed down from filing a lawsuit against Spotify, UMG, and Kendrick all at once. Let's be real, if he ever did file a real lawsuit, the chances of him actually naming all three are slim to none. It's an unwinnable fight, and Drake probably realized it, hence the reason he withdrew the petition. But don't quote me on that, because Drake is nothing if not unpredictable. More often than not, he doesn't distinguish between right and wrong. He just does whatever feels good in the moment. While we don't know for sure what Drake's next moves will be, one thing he needs to stop doing is pushing the tired narrative that he won this beef. He did that on that new track he just released, and at this point, it's just cringe. Everyone knows he lost, why keep pretending otherwise? It just doesn't make sense. If he genuinely believes he didn't lose, he could get back in the booth and fire off some crazy shots at Kendrick. Sure, it doesn't guarantee a response, but it's a better move than filing a legal case against 3 of the biggest players in the music industry, and let's not forget his so-called evidence, for the case hinges on the testimony of DJ Academics, your favorite boy toy who could never criticize you. That's not exactly a winning strategy, now is it? It's wild to think all of this intense drama is over a rap beef that had already concluded. The winner has moved on to bigger and better things, while the loser can't seem to take accountability or, like Frozen says, let it go. Now that Drake is at odds with the label that helped build this entire brand to the level that it is right now, you have to wonder what's next for his career. For those claiming Drake will be fine regardless, let's pump the brakes. The music industry doesn't work like that. It is not black and white, not even close. This is the same label that gave him the creative freedom and industry backing that helped him dominate the hip-hop space for years. Even when his sound shifted and he started saturating the game with music that felt unrecognizable for a hip-hop artist, the label still stood by him. Oh, and before you argue that he was making them the most money at the time, yes, that's true, there's no denying that. He really was making them a crap ton of money. But now that someone else has risen up to challenge that invincible status he once held, he decided that the best course of action is to sue the same label over the same things that were allegedly done for him too. Every major label is probably on high alert right now, reevaluating every potential loophole that artists could exploit the way Drake just tried to with UMG. The free access to the inner workings of the system that UMG gave him is exactly what he's now using against them. Good luck to any artist hoping for that same kind of access in the future, because it's not happening again. Instead of making things better for artists like he claimed in his petition, Drake has only made the industry harder to navigate. Genuine talents who could have made real changes for artists will now face more barriers than ever. And for those who think Drake doesn't need a label to thrive, that's just pure wishful thinking. Whether you like it or not, record labels are the backbone of Drake's success. They have always been, and they always will be. Without their support, his meteoric rise wouldn't have been possible. Trying to take this same label head on could turn out to be a career-ending mistake, even for someone with Drake's status. The fact that Drake withdrew his petition is a clear sign that he realized he was going to lose if he refiled a full lawsuit with the same claims. Seriously, how would he even prove the bot farming allegations against industry giants like Spotify and UMG? That would be a wild uphill battle. But what really rubbed people the wrong way was the way he framed the petition as some noble effort to, quote, make the industry better for artists. Come on. Aside from his most die-hard fans, everyone saw through that facade. It was pure fugazi, an attempt to save face after Kendrick knocked him out cold. Now with the news of the withdrawal, whatever little credibility Drake had left has taken another hit. Even if Drake does decide to file a real lawsuit eventually, it won't matter much to the public anymore. The damage is already done. People have seen how selfish and self-serving he truly is, and he's lost whatever credibility he had left. Kendrick really did a number on this guy. He's become Drake's biggest nightmare, one he just can't seem to escape. One certain thing is that this fallout between Drake and his label is going to create major ripples in artist-label relationships going forward. The irony is just too rich. Drake is out here accusing Kendrick of using fake streams to boost Not Like Us, yet he's been the most streamed rapper on Spotify for years without a single accusation of bot farming. Nobody even comes close to his numbers, and yet now he's turning around to point fingers at his own label. The same label that helped him dominate for over a decade. It's almost laughable. Maybe Drake thought he could take pride in being the first rapper in history to take legal action after losing a beef. If that really was his thought process, that's pretty sad. It says so much about who he actually is. Hip-hop has always been about competition, long before Drake came along. When rap feuds pop off, anything goes. Rappers throw whatever they can find into their bars to take shots at the opposition. That doesn't mean every claim is true, it's just part of the game. It's what makes rap beefs exciting. Not everything Tupac said about Biggie was factual, and the same goes for Jay-Z and Nas. Surviving in hip-hop means having thick skin, and clearly Drake forgot that. He's spent years sneak dissing artists on almost every project he's dropped, but now that the tables have turned, he can't handle the heat. Maybe Kendrick was right after all. Drake is really not like us, pun fully intended. No one in hip-hop right now is touching Drake when it comes to being the biggest clown in the game. The whole petition fiasco has cemented his legacy as arguably the most embarrassing loser in rap beef history, and what's he doing now? Back on Instagram posting his signature mirror selfies, pretending everything's fine when we all know Kendrick is living rent-free in his head. It's clear Drake has stopped caring about his legacy or the incredible things he could still achieve even after losing the beef. Right now it's all about revenge, and if he keeps heading down this path, he's only going to lose the respect of the few supporters he has left. Even if he does file a lawsuit and wins, let's be real, it wouldn't feel like a win anymore. With the way things are unfolding, it seems like there's more drama on the horizon. Sure, Drake canceled this petition, but who's to say he won't come after Kendrick directly? He might try to file a lawsuit over lyrics from tracks like Not Like Us, claiming they were damaging or disrespectful, but let's be honest, that would be ridiculous. Drake dished out plenty of shady bars about Kendrick on his own diss tracks too. The thing is, Drake rarely sees the bigger picture, and honestly, that's kind of understandable. It takes years to recover from a knockout punch as devastating as the one Kendrick delivered. So what's your take on these reports about Drake withdrawing his petition? Do you think there's a real chance this beef might move from the streets to the courtroom? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. This drama is far from over, and you don't want to miss the detailed breakdowns we've got coming your way, so hit that subscribe button and drop a like to stay locked in. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.